Hari Om and welcome to Contemplation of Bhaja Govindam. Let us continue with the Shloka number 28 onwards. So who would like to begin today's contemplation? Deepaji, yeah, please go ahead.
One easily takes to carnal enjoyment afterwards. The disease of the body.
Your voice is not very clear, Deepaji. Can you speak closer to the microphone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Just a minute, sir.
Yeah.
There'll be a disease of the body when one tries to enjoy using this body. Although in the world, though he suffers, he doesn't leave the sinful path. The death will bring an end to everything, but he doesn't leave the sinful path.
So what is that is being referred as sinful ways?
Though humans are suffering bodily through diseases, he doesn't realize whatever is happening. Whatever he's doing is sinful. He just goes on doing whatever he's doing.
So what is being referred as sinful here?
All the activities that he does, a few people will be going on doing all rubbish things, but though they have grown old, they still don't realize that what they are doing is all waste. They go on doing whatever they are doing. They don't realize that they shouldn't trouble others. Still they do it.
Is that what you feel here? Shankaracharya ji is referring as sinful. What is sin according to this, or in here in this context? What is he referring as sinful ways? He's starting with carnal enjoyment. So carnal enjoyment means what? Enjoying through your senses. Correct?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So essentially saying even then, though they know that, though everyone knows that disease can come to the body, death can come to the body, still they are not leaving the sinful ways. What is the sin that Shankaracharya ji is talking about?
Is enjoying through the senses a sinful way?
That is a question I'm raising. Because that is what it begins, no? One easily takes to carnal enjoyment. So what is carnal? Anything to do with senses.
Yes.
You enjoy your coffee, Deepaji?
Yes, sir.
That's a carnal enjoyment.
Yeah.
You enjoy eating laddu?
Yeah.
Not necessarily troubling outside, but troubling inside.
So what to do now? So stop drinking coffee, stop eating laddu, stop wearing good dress, stop enjoying a hot bath.
Listening to music or watching movies.
Listening to music. The moment you say I'm enjoying, how could you enjoy?
Carnal enjoyment.
Carnal enjoyment. Even the satsanga is through your senses. This is also carnal. Okay, so let's listen to others. Shubhaji, your
Okay, sir.
opinion?
Sir, anything in moderation is okay. Carnal enjoyment doesn't mean that yeah, I stopped drinking coffee at all. That is impossible for me personally. So, okay,
Shivaji, that's
coming to
the
the,
excuse, umbrella we all carry.
I know. We have still not reached that stage. Even that is an excuse, yes.
Okay. So Shubhaji's point is I
One
will
coffee.
have my personal excuses.
No, what he means to say is, one easily, we shouldn't get addicted to all these enjoyments, is what he's trying to put our focus on, because that would lead us to the disease of the body. And although we know that death is the ultimate thing that is going to happen, everyone has to go through, everyone will have death at one point of time. Even then, people will keep going for such enjoyments. The best example would be our politicians here. They know that they are not Shashwata. Someday they have to die, but they keep accumulating the wealth for another 100 generation. So that would be the best example for the shlokas.
Okay. So you and I are not sinning. That's what you're concluding.
No, see, example is politician. So, there are a lot of politicians in common people also.
So what is that Shankaracharya is referring as sinful? See, he's not giving any
Anything
kind of
anything
statement.
against the dharma is sinful.
Excellent. So what is then against dharma means? So is coffee drinking
See,
dharma or dharma?
even talking to somebody, being hurtful, that is also something which is not good. That is also sinful.
Okay.
Even cutting a tree is sinful. Even hurting a dog is sinful. Anything which you feel, okay, it is against my consciousness. As soon as you do that particular job, it says, okay, what you're doing is not right. That is sinful.
What you're doing is not right many a times comes from our cultural conditioning.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for example, in a traditional household, wearing a pant may be thought of as a sinful. A girl wearing a pant may be thought of as a sinful. You probably know, many people go through various kinds of worries and anxiety and guilt based on the cultural conditioning that has happened.
But I feel that when you or maybe even with the cultural condition, if you feel it is wrong, why do it?
How do
So the
you?
cultural conditioning was there for a particular reason, or may have been there for a particular reason. Maybe it is no more relevant, but still, that guilt carries forward. So for example, a newlywed has to enter the in-laws house by putting the right foot first, okay, for whatever reason, for a momentary lapse. If let's say the new Bahu steps in with left foot, what to do now?
She's a lefty.
So like that, the cultural conditioning is not necessarily always truthful. Cultural conditioning is there for a particular reason. Another example, extreme example we can take is, the cultural conditioning about hijab. You're made to feel sinful towards your holy scripture by not wearing hijab. For you and me, it may not make any logical sense. In a hot country like India, wearing completely black dress and roaming around in hot sun is like a torture. So maybe that is what they want. Okay, but anyway. So like that, what is sinful that Shankaracharya is referring? Padmaji, your opinion?
Vijayji, in some ways, maybe they are telling them stop thinking about body and like go beyond that. So you can see the truth in the way we want.
Padmaji, what do you feel?
So here, I think the Acharya is referring to the self-control, because the senses are the one that drives the mind, and once a mind is tuned to anything, whether it is towards the sense of taste, it could be anything, wearing nice dresses or collecting things, material things. All this, I think after a point of time, it becomes habitual. You are doing it subconsciously also without even realizing where is it leading, where all this is leading you to. So to keep it in control is what I think the shloka is suggesting. Because I think although we are in this body, because of our infinite nature, we also know that in some ways we are immortal. I think that also keeps on making you follow these senses, and because you don't believe that you can die somewhere inside. I think you have that thing. So that's why that provokes you to keep on doing these things, even though, for example, like smoking can lead to something, or, alcohol addiction can lead to something, or even simply, coffee addiction also can lead to certain things. It is affecting your mind in many ways, but still you continue to do it. You're not able to let go of it because of the senses that are getting too much involved in it. So withdrawal of those senses, wherever it is, I think is the way to not be sinful towards our own self, towards our own body. Because if without the body, even the consciousness, what is the way to function for the consciousness? This is the instrument. So the instrument has to be kept in a particular condition to perform.
So fundamentally, you are also saying what Shubhaji said, which is in moderation. And that is what sinful is, when something is not done in moderation.
I won't say moderation. I think if you are mindful about it, moderation is again very individual, no? Like for somebody who really loves coffee, even 4-5 cups might be moderation.
Yeah. I have a friend, she's from Chikmagaluru. She's from Chikmagaluru. She drinks coffee every half an hour, and she has a huge filter, and that is always there. And she says,
that's there in my house also, sir. That's why I'm saying that moderation is very individual.
I take only 2 per day, sir.
See, in her defense, I should call my husband now. What is moderation? He'll have a totally different definition of moderation.
We will have a court of Yama and Chitragupta, and all of us will stand there, and they will pass the judgment.
Somebody, my husband's family, they're very into coffee, and whenever they have, it's not just one sip, or it's not just one gulp. They have to have one. They have a level. That's how they have. So when I went into that family, I was like flabbergasted the first day, because I have never had any kind of drink till that time, not even milk, for 23 years of my life. And then I enter this house, and then They
Suddenly
all
you
make
became a sinner.
morning. 7 cups. 6, 7 cups, and I'm like, oh my God, okay. So people can drink like this also. That was my first idea. So yeah, so that's why I say moderation is again very individual. However, I would say that if you are mindful, if you know what you're doing, then still it's not sinful, is what I think.
That's your opinion. Okay.
Yeah.
Rupaji's opinion?
Sir, for this shloka, I can relate the fasting we do on Ekadashi, Sankashti and all.
Can you come closer to the microphone? Your voice is not...
Am I audible now, sir?
Better, yeah.
So I relate this shloka to the fasting that we do on Ekadashi and Sankashti. When I started with these practices, I used to cook very good meals on that day because though there was no rice in it, I was into cooking, and I used to cook good things. Actually, these fasting are meant for to be in memory of God. We should have God always in our mind on that day. We should meditate. This will actually improve our progress in the spiritual path. It will benefit us spiritually.
Yeah.
I did not have all these in mind. Though I knew, I did not focus on those things. Then after some time, I realized that I'm cooking better meals than other days. This I realized because on those days I used to get disturbed. I used to get angry on others. So I was thinking, what benefit is the fasting doing to me? Then I realized that the reason is that I'm into all these things. I'm enjoying on these days through my senses. So here Shankaracharya is also speaking about these carnal enjoyments only, not realizing that ultimately this body is going to pass away. One is enjoying through his senses.
So your opinion is he's asking us to give up all sense enjoyments?
No, I think he is suggesting us to do everything just to keep the body alive and comfortable and be in the memory of the Lord.
Okay, so that's how you feel. Okay. Sharaṇaṃ?
Yeah. So to me, it's basically like every moment, any moment, like I'm doing something like basically with the enjoyment. I'm not thinking of the truth, Brahman. So he's saying that like all this enjoyment takes you away from the truth. Okay, and so basically, and with the death as the refuge, time is running out. Okay, you can keep doing this, but then like if you are not contemplating on the truth, then you are going to again come back. Right. So yeah, because all this carnal enjoyment, the activities, becomes an addiction, and like you are forgetting the reality at that moment. And if I do 100 things in a day, even for like each one takes 2 minutes or 5 minutes, right? That many minutes I have like completely drifted away from the reality, from the truth.
Okay. So earlier Acharya ji said, Yogaratho va bhogaratho va sangarato va
Can you go back?
Whether you are enjoying with your senses or whether you are away from your senses.
If you are not revealing in Brahman, then...
Right?
Yes.
So here, what is the sin that Shankaracharya ji is really pointing us to? Fundamentally, anything that you do with a sense of I-ness, which is separate from the whole. That I-ness could be the body-based I-ness could be your other identities. So any identity-based action leads you into bondage. When there is a feeling of I am the doer, I am the enjoyer, I am the knower, as an individual self separate from the rest, then that is the one which causes one to get into the cycle of karma. So it is not that the body of a realized being will not have diseases, or it is not that the body of the realized being will not go through the death. However, there is no more identification with the body. What body? Both a physical and a mental body.
Mental body.
As long as one is doing any kind of an action with a sense of attachment to the body, could be physical body or could be mental body, then that becomes a sin. Sin means what? It just it becomes either a punya or papa. Whatever the action you do, depending upon the merit of the action, it becomes a punya or papa. Meaning what? It gets credited under your account. So that is how one gets bound. More punya, good places. More papa, wrong places. So is it some other place after death? No, you can experience that here and now.
And also it strengthens that activity, right?
Exactly. The same activity is because the mind is an instrument of repetition. The more you repeat something, the more it becomes conditioned, deeply conditioned. So there is a repetition. And that is what we call as karma cycle. So it is a karma cycle that Shankaracharya ji is referring to, that one gets bound to. Sin or papa or punya in the Vedanta way is not about some place called Swarga and Naraka. Your life can become hellish here itself, depending upon what kind of thoughts are constantly harbored in your mind and what kind of actions you and I perform. Or it can feel like, it's the place called Swarga, depending upon how you are able to keep your mind and body. Is it not? So therefore, the fundamental sin is, I am something separate from the rest, is the fundamental sin. And from there, everything else follows a cycle. So does it mean drinking coffee or taking bath or enjoying laddu is sinful? Again, everything has to do with what is the attitude in your mind. Is the attitude that of it is for me and I'm enjoying, or is the attitude that of how am I using this in order to serve somebody else? So there's nothing wrong in having a coffee enjoyment. But what is the purpose of drinking coffee? So that I can serve someone else better. I'm more aware and awake, and it's a way by which typically people bond. So what is that I'm using that enjoyment for? So as long as I keep using that enjoyment for rightful purposes, what is again rightful? Rightful is where there is sense of harmony, sense of peace, sense of love that is being built, then that is okay. But at the end of the day, when you realize that you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not the intellect, and you are that pure Brahman, and that these various changes are happening in your presence, then there is no more identification with what is happening, what is mine and what is others. That identification, when it is dropped, that is the most evolved state. But to get there, one has to start giving up on sinful ways. And the way we define sin is generally by the nature of the action. If somebody is hitting somebody and taking, that is what we generally call as sin. But the most fundamental sin is when I have a body-based thinking. When I do whatever I do with a body-based thinking. That is why that picture of the children blowing the bubbles. So body-based thinking is like the bubble. The bubble is going to burst. As long as the bubble is there, it may be a small or a big bubble. As long as the bubble is there, I may feel very cooped up in that bubble. But when the bubble bursts, that is the disease and the death and so on and so forth. Is this, Deepaji, is this all bringing clarity?
Yes, sir.
So it's okay to drink coffee or not okay?
Okay, sir.
So,
if it's to wake us up to sit for the satsang.
So in the last 10 days when I was in ashram, no, there was a beautiful definition of dharma. Another way of looking at dharma came up. In life, there is a supply and demand. For example, someone is hungry and someone has food. As long as someone who has food doesn't need it, and as long as your action is to take that food and to supply it to the one who requires, then that is the most noble thing that you can do. That is dharma. So take from where it is not needed and give it to where it is needed. Is one way of looking at how we can perform actions. And slowly, as we keep performing such actions, then the truth starts shining. Then, it can be established. All right. So shall we end the contemplation of this shloka here? Do we want to continue to another shloka? Do we end the contemplation here?
We'll
end here. Okay. All right. Hari Om.